Dear parish family, I come before you this evening to talk about our upcoming services for Holy Week. The last time I spoke to you in this manner, it's hard to believe, was almost 10 months ago, when I addressed you on Pentecost Sunday, May the 31st, telling you that the following week, for the first time, we would be able once again to gather in this magnificent church to celebrate our sacraments, the Eucharist, penance, confession, and all the other sacraments, funerals, and weddings, times that were not allowed due to COVID. It was hard to believe that from the weekend of March the 21st, we were unable to gather here until that Sunday. When we started, we had to be very, very concerned about making sure that people kept social distance, that people would wear masks, that people, if they felt sick, would probably, hopefully, stay home, that we would sanitize our hands when we came into the church. Well, here it is now. We started the weekend of June the 6th and only had 2 masses. The total number that attended those masses was a little over 300. Last Sunday, we had over 700 for the 5th week of Lent. And this Sunday, being the Sunday called Palm Sunday or Passion Sunday, we expect that there will be more coming. We just want to make sure that when you come to worship, you will be safe. So I'm just letting you know that what we've planned for Holy Week and Easter is the following. All of the doors of the church will be locked except for the 2 alcove entrances. Remember that even though the doors are locked, if you're in the church, you can exit any door because they all have crash bars on them. But the reason we're only keeping these 2 doors open is so that the ushers can make the best use of the space available in our church. We ask that if you come as a family, you would follow the directions of the ushers. We ask that you please be kind and respectful. If they ask you to move in, they're only doing it so that more of our parish family can also worship along with us. We're asking that you continue to wear a mask. If you are still uncomfortable about coming into the building, you will still be able, as you have been since the beginning of this pandemic, to listen to our liturgies in the parking lot on your radio station, 87.9. And during all of our masses on Palm Sunday, on Easter, and during the Holy Week services, someone will come out into the parking lot for those who would like to receive Holy Communion. Speaking of Holy Communion, since our return to church, we've had 2 stations. And the 2 stations we've had have been here in the front of the church, at the top of the aisle on the St. Joseph side, and at the top of the aisle on the Blessed Mother side. Because there are more people, we need to have more communion stations. So what we are going to implement this weekend and for the foreseeable future are 4 stations. 2 here at the top of the aisle in front of St. Joseph and the Blessed Mother, and 2 right there at the alcoves. Please follow the directions of the ushers as they bring you forward. For those in the second half of the church, the ushers will begin, as we have since the return from the pandemic, of leading you from the back up to the alcove where you will receive communion from one of the ministers or the priests. Then you will return to your pew by going across the break in between the pews and going back down the center aisle. At the very same time, those who are in the front of the church will be directed by the ushers, beginning with the center pews in the nave After all of you have received, by coming up the side aisles and returning to your pew, by going back down and down the center aisle, then the two alcoves in front of the Blessed Mother and St. Joseph will also come forward. We do ask that at this time, for the safety of all, you continue to wear your masks in church. We ask that you try to take care of necessary needs at home before you would come. I want you to know that for the services this week, other than Palm Sunday, the 9:30 Mass will be live streamed that day. But on Holy Thursday evening at 7 p.m., when we celebrate the Mass of the Lord's Supper and the procession from the altar of sacrifice to the altar of repose, that will be live streamed. On Good Friday, our service at 2 p.m. will also be live streamed. And on Easter, Holy Saturday evening at 7:30 p.m., our Easter Vigil Mass will be live streamed. And then again on Easter Sunday itself, the 7:30, the 9:30, and the 11 will all be live streamed. This coming week, we begin all of these changes. And it just happens to be Palm Sunday. So I want you to know that as you come into the church, the ushers that are at the two alcove doors will hand you palm. We'd ask that you would take it with you into the church so that at the beginning of the Mass, when the priest comes out and we say the Gospel of the Palms, and Father will ask you to raise up your palm glasses to be blessed, it will be easier if you have them in your hands at that time. For those who may need more palm to take home to sick relatives or friends, at all of the exits there will be baskets with blessed palm for you to take home. Last Easter, it was extremely difficult for all of us as we were unable to gather in this magnificent church to celebrate the central and saving event of our faith, Jesus in his love being crucified for us, and the celebration of the great promise for each and every one of us, which we hold out at every Eucharist and takes great meaning at every funeral Mass, and that is that Jesus is risen from the dead. This year, I'm thrilled that rather than just Monsignor Kudus and Carol and myself and Father Maisano saying the prayers by ourselves in this church, we will be accompanied by our parish family, those of you who will gather here in faith. Again, thank you so much for your continued support and your love and your care and concern for this, your parish church. May God reward each and every one of us, and may he soon bring an end to this pandemic so that we will no longer have to be so cognizant of keeping social distance and wearing our masks. May God bless and protect all of you. Thank you again for your attention to this address.